What's up, everyone? Mark here from Jenson USA with our good guy here, Kyle, the expert on all things bike, to give you the first look on 2023 Yeti SB120. All right, so Kyle here is one of the bicycle experts, or the bicycle expert here, controlling what bikes are coming in Jenson. So he knows more than I could ever even come around. So Kyle, why don't you tell us a little bit about Yeti's 2023 SB120 and like what do they design, who do they design it for, and you know all the good stuff about this bike.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited to have this the new SB120. This is taking the place of the SB115 and the 100 itself. So no new linkage, no new shocks. This is a full new platform, so we're pretty excited to see it. And it's a Yeti bike, you know. We get pretty excited when we see these turquoise bikes come through these doors. It's a gorgeous bike, and really what this bike has done is jumped up into the travel a little bit. Obviously the 120, 134, you can see the tires on here. Grip 2 dampener, you sort of know where this is for. It's out there for business now. We're getting into that trail bike, pushing a little bit more up into maybe down country, a little bit lighter trail bike. This bike really could be something for everyone depending on what you're doing with it. I really do think this is fits a really good sweet spot of travel. The geometry itself on this is actually just going to lead yourself to being a very playful, fun bike, and still lightable, still light to be able to for your local XC races and stuff like that. If you wanted to go do that, or marathon races, you still could get on this and still go compete with that on a one bike of this caliber.
Yeah, so I know like, you know, Yeti's really pushing this bike as it's the boundary breaking bike. Like it's up for the rider to define kind of what it's doing. You know, like you're saying, whether you're going to go out and race, you know, cross country or take it out on your local trail and really, you know, put the bike to the test. They've really talked about, you know, how this bike is meant for the rider to define exactly what it's capable of, because they put everything out here for it. So why don't we get into some of the features that it has and, you know, how this is really shaping this SB120.
Yeah, so what's really pretty cool of what Yeti has done this year is they've made this frame be able to have a size-specific chainstays, size-specific seat tube angle. So you got to think that's a mold for every single size and changing that, so the balance of every rider getting the same type of feel of that. They went to a 66.5 head to degree angle over the pressure. So this is going to give it a little bit more trail characteristics out there, but it still just drops down in that weight. I mean, you can build one of these to be a sub 30-pound bike, no problem. This is a T1 that we have here. It's just slightly over that, but with this build here and this characteristics that we have out of this, like you said, that no boundaries really set. And I try to almost swim into that a little bit when you clean this up. This bike could be a trail bike with these tire profile. If I wanted to go race this at a cross country race or an enduro race, I could put some lighter tires on this, or maybe have a carbon wheel set for this to swap out. And I could really have a one bike quiver that takes those short travels of XC guys. Like I know we hear this all the time, but this could be like your all mountain enduro riders, like cross country bike, you know? For someone like myself, this really sets a really fun balance of being able to go pedal all day, still have enough travel and enough play, and it's still small enough that I feel like I can throw it around and whip it around and have a lot of fun on it.
All right, so we've kind of gone over the overview of the bike. Why don't you show us tell us a little bit about some of the features that are, you know, coming on this bike, and you know, show people like the super exciting stuff that Yeti's bringing in 2023 with the SB120.
So, like I said, all new platform. It did jump up in travel. So it's that 120, 130, obviously the name sort of experience of that. Some of the highlights that I would really say, really happy that Yeti went this route, is a threaded bottom bracket on this, and serviceability, ease of use. It's a big difference on that. It makes it pretty simple for your home user to do. It's also pretty cool that Yeti also, there's two real ways of, like in carbon frame, you can actually glue in the aluminum bracketry for the threaded part, or you can mold it in. So it does cost more, better security, longevity out of it, of actually molding the aluminum piece inside of the threaded bottom bracket. So you're not going to have any slippage or delamination. So really excited to see that. Yeti stepped it up on cable management. Probably one of the things I have my biggest pet peeve is I like quiet bikes. Yeti on this on the 120 on cable management took this over from the Arc. It's actually clamps down and is fully hosed inside, so you can see it's got no movement in there. You're not going to get any of that rattling that you hear through there. And what's also pretty cool is they come with a couple different little caps if you're running access or wireless. You could actually just cap that off so you don't get any water or anything through there. Like I said, the system through here too, also in the yoke system, where the bearings are pressed in. They used to be pressed right into the carbon itself. This is thin carbon, so if you needed to take those out, service or anything like that, now it's actually put into the metal yoke for the shop itself. Just makes it a little easier to work on. Brings that weight in a little bit closer to the frame itself, and brings that UDH universal rear derailleur to the rear swing arm on this. So again, that's a universal derailleur hanger that we're seeing from SRAM, so it's pretty nice because you can carry one of those pretty easy. If you're out riding and happen to break one on a bike trip or so, you should be able to pick up one of those pretty much anywhere. Also on this, it actually jumped up to a 180 rear post on this, so you're actually running a 180 front and rear rotor without having to use any adapters. And it's like minute little things, but it's really Yeti's done its homework and really asked customers of what they're looking for. Cable management, the threaded bottom bracket, post mount, just all the refinements that you would expect out of a brand like Yeti.
Awesome. You being the bicycle expert here, you know so much. You ride a ton of bikes out there. You're always out there on the trails. Maybe you can kind of compare a little bit about how this bike stands up to some of the other bikes that are out there, for someone to kind of, have a little bit of understanding on if they're, really looking to get into the SB120.
So from its predecessors, from like the 100 or the 150, I've had both of those platforms, and jumping to this bike itself, it has a little bit more of a trail manner to it, more so than the cross-country side. So it's getting, that down country side or so. It still has a firmer platform than you would see out of a 130 or 140 getting into like a mid-sized trail bike. So it's going to play on that lower range of trail bikes. I probably would put characteristic-wise, the closest that I would put this to riding characteristics is a hugely popular bike. And we love that bike here too. It's called the Ibis Ripley, and it's got that same type of pedal platform. I feel like this bike urges me to want to go a little bit faster. The Yetis just have a tendency to want to push you to ride them a little bit quicker. I think the Ibis has a little bit more better trail manners to it, but I think this is leading its way to that cross-country side a little bit more. While some of the other bikes might be starting to push, the trail category is getting so diluted with smaller travels to these big travels and everything in between. So this is where this guy's going to sit. Is going to be into that trail guy that really emphasizes on those big climbs. You're going to be out on the cranking all day, as well as just undulating type of stuff that you're going to be able to pump through some of these corners and really carry speed. This bike is going to really hold its own for someone that wants to work and keep on top of it. It's really going to reward you for that.
So this bike is, it's pretty sick. If you like this SB120, why don't you tell us, a little bit like what you're most excited for on Yeti's pedal platform? Like, what are you getting excited for? Leave us a comment below. And if you have any questions about the SB120, make sure to reach out to our Gear Advisor pros. These people are super excited. They're very knowledgeable, and they're, always available to help answer all your questions and concerns, and make sure you're getting on that perfect bike to keep you out there riding the trails. And as always, just like this boundary defining SB120 is meant to do, it's to keep you pedaling.